What's going on, guys? So this is going to be my first product spotlight video, if you want to call it that. It's a series of videos where I'm going to basically show you some of the products that I sell on my website at 614fish.com and how I use them in my fish room and how you could possibly use this product as well. The first product kind of hits home with me is my own house brand media pads, and I just brought these on as a house brand product. I have the poly pads, carbon infused, nitrate reducing, phosphate reducing, and ammonia reducing, and I'm going to show you how I use the most simple pad, which is the poly pad, on rack system 2, which is down the end of this row, and that's the flow through system. And I really want to show you how I use this cheap way to filter 260 gallons worth of water. So let's check it out. Alright guys, this is rack system 2. This is the flow through system. I have a lot of videos on this system of me building it, setting it up, how it all works. Lucas Bretz did a video on this system on how he liked how it runs. And anyways, it's basically a flow through. Water goes from the top tanks to these tanks to the bottom tanks. I drain the water down so I can service the filter. And it's super easy. Right now the pump's turned off. To drain the system, I open this valve and the pump pumps the water straight into the sump, and I just do that until I drain enough water. Each of these tanks down here has plants in it, and I use that to remove nitrates out of the water. But I still do physical filtration. This is a drip line. I drip fresh water into the system, and sorry it looks like crap because there's duckweed in these lower tanks just to help remove extra nitrates as well. And when I drop the water level, it looks like complete crap because the duckweed sticks to the glass. Here's kind of, I don't want to call it the heart of the system, because really the way these sumps work, that's the heart. This is just kind of extra filtration to help pull some of the particles out of the water. This tube back here is the drain from all the tanks above. That tube comes across and it comes into this box. This box I bought at like Dollar General. I think it was like $4. It's like a makeup holder, I think is what it was listed as, and it's just a plastic box with drawers. It's going to be really hard to see. The pipe comes in, that's the pipe there, comes into this top media tray. I can remove this, but all there is poly pads in here, and this is all gunk. This is a week's worth, this might be almost a week and a half, 2 weeks worth of just gunk that it's pulling out of the water. In the bottom of each of these trays, I drilled a bunch of holes. So it's kind of like a wet-dry system. So the water comes in, hits the pad, and it only hits in one spot. And basically it kind of clogs up this spot, and then the water just travels outwards. There's a slight slope, so all the water's traveling this way, and you can see I'm not really maximizing the effective area of all this. To do that, I would really need to disperse the water out better. But once the water goes through there, it drops down to the next one. And this is a different filter material I've been testing, and it's very inexpensive. So I was looking at it as a way to use that instead of the traditional polyfill. But you can already tell this media in this tray has been in here longer than this one, and this one is substantially dirtier. And then finally, and you can see this one, this is my poly fleece, substantially dirtier compared to this. And what this actually is bulk filter media for your home furnace. It's super inexpensive, so I thought it might be a good alternative, because you can buy big rolls of it, but it just does not filter like dedicated aquarium poly pads do. So I'm going to pull these out, these drawers. That's the kind of nice thing about these. I could physically just take these out, but it kind of gunks up and it will drop down into the tank. I like pulling the drawer out and taking it to the trash can, so I'm going to do that now. Alright, so I pulled these two drawers out, and so this, I gotta look up to see who recommended me trying this. Somebody did this on a live stream. They said you should try HVAC system, which is your home furnace, filter media. And I did. So this is me testing it. I originally started with one big piece, and it just, you can tell it just, the water goes right through it, it doesn't catch. When you start adding poly pads, it clogs up, which is great because that means it's attracting and collecting the particles. This is right where the pipe drops in at. So it clogs up and then just spreads the water further and further. You can see some duckweed went down my overflows at some point, and it collects it. Unfortunately, I guess there's also some ram's horns that have made their way down into the filter system, and that's as far as they got. But this filter media, it just doesn't work. It works to an extent, but I would not recommend using it. It just flows too much through it without catching enough. I mean, this is substantial right here. You can see exactly where all the drips, where all the holes are from here. You know, it doesn't work. So let me dump that out. There's the holes. This plastic is very brittle, so like drilling it, it busted out some spots. I'm not too concerned with that. I don't wash these, I just put them right back in. Here's what you get when you order the polyfill pad. There's no labels on it yet. I'm still waiting on the company to do labels. This is from the original batch of testing. They come, it's almost kind of funny, they come sealed, right? But they still have holes, because I wanted to vacuum seal these so they would be smaller and easier to like fold, but they come with vent holes in them, so even with the ends being heat sealed, there's still a little hole so they breathe. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this and show you what you get. Okay, so if you order the poly fleece, you get 2 squares of it in one package. So that's another reason why I liked this product, is that you get 2 for 1 basically. And then you could cut it, if you had a hang-on back filter, you could cut it to fit. I just kind of jam it in there. I'm not too worried about extra, but look at this. It fits these drawers perfectly without me having to, you know, cut it lengthwise. So I kind of make it just where it kind of curls a little bit in the sides, like so. And then once it gets wet and starts collecting, it'll settle. And then the same thing, I could do it over here. I'm going to show you one more product I got. Let me go grab it, and I'll be right back. Alright, so this is more like a poly fiber. I'm going to have this label as the poly fiber pads. This one's, I'm going to have labeled as the poly fleece pad. It's a lot more dense. You don't technically get as much as far as like surface area, because you get 2 of these in one package. So that's like how much you get right there. But this one, it's not as big, and it's one piece, but it's way more dense. So this is what I'm going to use to help polish the water. And if the video where you saw, well, it's not there anymore, where I had that cutout, that's this guy. And I had that right on top just to test it, see how it does. But this is going to be my secondary filter. So I want the little bit coarser stuff on top and the extra fine stuff on the second row. So this is going to catch the bigger particles, and this will catch the smaller particles. But this stuff does way better than that HVAC stuff. So I'm going to get these set up, and I will cut this one to size. I won't cut it so it's the correct length, and then I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, so I cut this off. It was like that as far as length. Width-wise, this is how much extra I have. I don't worry about cutting it. And this extra piece, I could use this somewhere else. I could wrap a sponge filter with this. I could wrap the intake to a hang-on back with this. There's a lot you can do with just this extra scrap. I never throw scraps away, but what I do is I just throw it right on top. And you know, any water that hits in this center that drips from this tray, it's just doubling up my material. It's been a week. This is real dirty after a week. I might be able to pull this out and then let that one remain and let it, you know, continue doing its job. But that's what I do with that. I'm going to go ahead and get these drawers back in the holder, and we'll continue from there. Pause 1 second. I went ahead and cut this down. I guess I should show you how, you know, you can make it look. All I did was cut the length of this off so that way they fit in there nice and snug. I change these out once a week, so I don't like to spend extra time doing maintenance if I don't have to. If I didn't have 45 tanks in here to manage, I would spend the extra 2 minutes and do this. But you know, if this is your system, go ahead and do it how you want. And then once again, I just took the extra scraps. Instead of throwing this away, I threw them in here. Another thing you could do is cut these into squares and kind of use them like little bio cubes. And I could, you know, throw strips of these into the sump and let it collect beneficial bacteria and stuff like that. But I'm just going to throw them in here, and now I will put these shelves back together. Alright, they're all back together. This one I left in there. I'm just going to leave it for now. I'll change this out probably in a couple days. And I don't know if I ever talked about this filter box, because this was added on after I was all the way done with this rack. And all I did is I had this reptile screen lid that's made for a 20, I think it's made for a 20 long, or it might be made for like a 20 high. I think it's for a 20 high. It was too wide because it's made to sit on the outside edge of the tank. So I cut it lengthwise, cut the, like a strip, like let's say 1 inch wide out. And then I think I tack welded it. I think I tack welded it back together and made it fit inside this, and I used that to hold this box above this tank, and it's got the screen so water can just fall through it. I did silicone the corners just in case water gets in here. I didn't want it like somehow leaking out, but it's really not going to because it's already recessed down. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and kick the water back on. I need to add water back into the system, and we'll continue it there. I know I keep saying that, but let's keep rolling. Alright, so what I like to do is cut the water off and let all these bottom tanks equalize out before I keep adding more water so I don't accidentally overflow anything. So you can see the water is dripping down. That means all these tanks are overflowing. It's going out this pipe and into all this filter material. And it's going to trickle. It's a trickle tower, that's what it's called. So it's trickling down. And what's great about this style, super easy to pull the media out and clean it, but it's also gaining oxygen. So that water is falling through and trickling to the next one, and then it drops. It looks, you know, it looks just like a shower head in there. So it's just gaining oxygen. I also run air stones in these two tanks to just put more oxygen into the water before it gets sent up to the top tanks. Because the top tanks have no plants in them at all. They're bare bottom. That's where I keep the heavy load, the heavy stock numbers of fish. So yes, it's working. This filter media is great. I love the pads because you can customize them to whatever you need. So this is kind of showing this rack system off while showing you a new product I have. And that's kind of like what I want to do with future videos. Alright guys, so like I just said, this is kind of like what I want to do with future videos as far as these product spotlights. I want to show you how I use the product in my fish room and how, you know, you could possibly use it in your fish room. And if you like how I did this video with like showing how I use it and whatnot, leave a comment, and I'll keep making stuff like this. I have plans to do it with like filters and fish foods and basically everything I sell on my website and why I promote that product. If you have any suggestions for future videos, also drop a comment. And if you haven't already, like, subscribe. Subscriptions really help me grow my channel, and hopefully I can put out more informational videos. Content's not great, but I think it gets the point across of how you can use these media pads. I'll link in the description where you can get these pads on my website. Don't forget to use the discount code at checkout. It's YouTube. It'll save you 10% off your entire order. And, you know, keep tanking along, guys. Until the next video, see ya.